Welcome to Driven by the Best. We are your hosts today, Matt Hancock, DHF coordinator, and my trusty co-host, Sarah Waterman, DHF dietitian. And then we have a couple awesome guests on today, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves right now. It's a couple prime drivers, and we've worked with them quite a bit in the past for all of our DHF stuff. They're also part of our DHF task force, helping guide the way in all of our DHF efforts. And so I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Lenora, and yes, I'm an over-road trucker. We team drive, and we've been doing fitness and personal development for about 5 years, and now we're adapting it to as truckers, you know.
Yep, and my name's Gates. I'm the other owner here of MOTOvated Life, and we just started building a fleet within Prime, and she's exactly right. We've spent a lot of time doing personal development and physical fitness, as personal trainers, and we adapted to come over the road, and now we're trying to experiment and figure out the best way to live a healthy lifestyle over the road trucking.
Yes, that's awesome. Well, we are so happy to have you guys on to discuss all those things. But before we really get into that, what did you guys do prior to Prime, and what made you decide to transition to driving at Prime?
Well, you go ahead and take it.
Okay, so we decided that we wanted to get into personal training and, took that route. We went certified with the International Sports and Science Association, and then the opportunity arose that a friend of a friend had a yoga studio that she wanted to get out from under. And so we purchased her studio and started running our own group fitness and yoga studio there for a little while. And that was actually located in Marshfield, not too far from Springfield. And so we ran that for a few years, and about 2019, December 2019, we decided to try to transition online, and it really couldn't have been a better timing for us, because it wasn't very long after that, COVID hit, and Lenore and I had driven together prior at Prime about 2012 to 2014. We did trucking together, and then got out, and we still had those CDLs, so we hopped back in the truck to make it through COVID.
Yeah.
That's awesome, guys. That's, being someone that, with the exercise background, health background, stuff like that, you mentioned ISSA, that's exactly what I started on whenever I got my certification a long time ago. And it's awesome just to have that knowledge and background and bring it into this industry, because it is, as you know, it's hard to be healthy in this industry. And, saying that, you guys have kind of brought in a focus on your health and well-being that spurred you to kind of form that MOTOmeet, isn't it? And, can you tell us a little bit about maybe that venture and, a little bit about MOTOme and the reasoning behind why you started it?
Yes, so we were in the military, and then after getting out, the transition getting out was pretty difficult, and harder for other veterans as well. And we were actually going to school here in Springfield, and
we had a friend of ours. He took his own life, and so kind of succumbed to the demons that that plague a lot of veterans. And it was, and this wasn't the first friend. It was just that this happened to. It was just the last friend that we got. We were done seeing it. We wanted to do something. What can we do to make an impact on these veterans? Anyways,
so I noticed, I was the president of the veterans group at the school I was at, and so I noticed that a lot of veterans there were having a really hard time figuring out what major they really wanted to be a part of, because you get paid to go to school. You did the hard work to earn your GI Bill, right? And now they're using that to go to school. without planning about what it actually is they want to go to school for, why they want to go to school for it, why it's important for them to go to school. There's nobody telling them a mission, and they lost all their camaraderie, all their friends, right, all their family, and so it was just really hard to see a lot of different veterans struggling to make this transition. And so we, through ISSA, got also certified as behavioral transformation specialists, and so that's pretty much like the psychology part behind the things that you need to do to make change, right? And so we started teaching and showing them different ways, and this was just not even business. This was just me I tried to be a good leader, I guess, and showing them how to make specific changes in their educational career, their academic career, right?
And then we started teaching them fitness, because with veterans it's hard to get to talk about emotions and things, and or to tap into that part. And the best way to really do that is to tap into it through fitness. And a lot of our veterans, they've been shot up, blown up, injured from miles of hiking and rucking with a lot of weight on their back, and they couldn't do a lot of normal traditional fitness. So we started teaching them yoga or calisthenics-based fitness, something, and showing them how to slowly move and do these sort of things that didn't take a lot of equipment, didn't take a lot of money. We would bring them to our loft downtown here in Springfield, and just teach them there, or do follow along videos, and
anyway, so that's when we started to really be like, I love doing this, and I love that we're making such an impact, and I at least hope I was making a bigger impact in changing some lives, and I thought that, this is something I definitely want to do for my life. And so we started with veterans and wanted to really focus with veterans, but life really took us kind of away from the veteran side, and then we started helping retired
Gentlemen and ladies.
Yeah, they're great. They completely changed our aspect, our thoughts on what it is to be an older person, to be retired, to be in that time of your life where you have all this free time and the strength in life that you can really have, the joy you can really have in that part of your life. And they were a great group, complete blessing for us, because it really did change our ideas of what it meant to be older.
So when we started MOTOme, let's get back to what that means. It's a Marine Corps term. I'm sure that most other branches use it too now, but MOTOvated, and so it could go either two ways. One, for sure, it's that guy or that gal is completely motivated and inspiring, and is doing like hardcore work and like inspiring the rest of the Marines to really get to do something, like to do this mission. And the other one is a different sort of motivated, where you're just like, that guy is kind of a tool. He's got all the gear, the unnecessary gear that he needs and doesn't need or whatever. So
we wanted to turn that around. We wanted to take something from our past, something that was military oriented and sort of a call to action, right? So we paired it together with MOTOme, and so it's kind of this inspirational saying that we can hopefully motivate each other with our lives. So MOTOme with what you're doing, with how you're changing, with who you're inspiring, with how you're living, with the relationships that you're building, and that's kind of where that whole idea of building a business around personal development started. And and as new businesses grow, they get pushed into their specific niches, and it's been quite a blessing over the last year. We were pushed into focusing on over-the-road truckers, which is a completely neglected industry as far as health and fitness goes, and we're hoping to really make a giant impact in that.
overall wellness, pretty much, and that's what we've always focused on, is being, it's not just the fitness part was the gateway into the rest of the
Behavior
change in the rest of your life, when it comes to all your big goals and things like that. So it was really cool to have to, I don't know, be almost forced back into the trucking industry, and I don't know, now we're like, why didn't we do this before?
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy the twists and turns that life can take you sometimes, and weaving all of your past experiences into future teachings and things you can pass on to not only people in the trucking industry, but also maybe veterans that may be suffering, or people in their retirement ages. All very powerful transitionary periods in life whenever they're going through those things. So that's really cool. That's a really awesome backstory on that.
Yeah. Those transitions and making the best of your current situation and what's going on in the world, like you mentioned with COVID. So to transition a bit, since health and wellness is so important to you guys, can you break down your routine that you follow over the road that helps you live that healthy, balanced life?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I think most truckers would be like, what routine? I think that's exactly what they're thinking. I know that's if there's any sort of something that's applied to the general public that's hard for truckers, I think, to apply to their lives, it's the routine, in the sense that you can schedule your day. Like, I'm going to wake up at this certain time, and then I'm going to do my morning routine, and I'm going to, go to work, and then have an evening routine. And I try to tell people that I think for drivers, what's most important is understanding what you want to get done in the day, and then orienting that around whatever the load schedule is. Because we don't know. I don't know when I'm going to, for the most part, I don't know, what my pickup time is going to be, how long I'm going to be stuck there, when. And so if I'm just like, okay, I know I definitely want to get in a 15 to 30 minute exercise. I want to listen to this book today over the road while I'm driving. We're back in school, like going to college over the road, so I know that I have this paper due, so when I get done driving, I'm gonna at least have to spend 2 hours doing homework. And so you plan out the things that you want to get done in a day, and then
It's usually 3 to 4 things. That's about it.
yeah, and then you have to plan that around your drive time, and so it can never really be the same, just due to the nature of the beast of trucking. But I find that's what works for me, is that I know that I'm going to do it at some point, and so then it's just a basic sort of checklist. And when I can fit it in, if I'm like, oh, I can take 15 minutes right now on the back of my fuel stop, or at a shipper, or at a receiver, I'll take it then. But it's not necessarily something where I can plan a dedicated routine every day, and perhaps that's one of the hardest things to adapt to.
There is some things you can do to sort of create that routine, because some people really need that. I am one of the people that need a somewhat of a routine. I'm not like hard set on everything, but so I'll spend an hour before my drive time, getting ready, doing that sort of stuff, getting dressed. I have a sort of a prayer time and things like that, and then while I'm driving, my first 15 minutes while I'm driving, I'm priming my mind. I am setting up a lot of gratitude, focusing on a lot of vision, like for my goals that I am getting now, and then the vision of my goals in the future, and just realizing and visualizing them here in the now, and being grateful for them as if I attained them. And then from there I will go into moving into my drive time, being grateful for the people. Obviously, we have this amazing view of the country, so being grateful for all of that.
Yeah, Lenore has found and sort of adapted this 15 to Thrive um, audio program from Tony Robbins, and I think we'll create one for us.
Yes.
But
yeah, I've had to adapt it a little bit because we were truckers, so
yeah. But it's really cool because every single day you can spend the first 15 minutes of your day putting your mindset in a state of joy and of gratitude, and
passion
carries
for life, compassion for the drivers on the road,
Yeah, and it carries into the rest of your day as you're driving. You're not as angry when that driver cuts you off, or when the shipper is rude, or whatever it is. You can kind of keep yourself in a positive state, because I'm sure you guys are definitely aware, and the drivers listening, it's hard to stay in a peak state and not be sort of depressed and angry and upset about life happening to me on the road. Sometimes that's hard to battle.
Yeah, 100%. That's something that I think not only drivers in the trucking industry can really utilize to start their day, but really anybody. 2020 was hard for a lot of people. A lot of things happened that are just out of people's comfort zones, and really practicing that mental resilience piece and being adaptable to those situations by looking at life in a positive light, I think has a profound effect, not only on your daily outlook, one day at a time, but also I think, Sarah and I preach in DHS that you have to change your mindset for new drivers that come into the industry, because you can't always do what you did in the past. You can't sit there and sit behind the wheel and hope that eating gas station, truck stop food and fast food is going to get you healthier. It has to be a mindset of a total change of positivity, mental health, nutritional health, sleep if you can, physical health, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And so we're talking about mindset, and then you're talking about routines, and both of those things, as important as they are wonderful tools. But you have to know where you're where you're headed. What do you want out of this? I mean, why are you waking up and doing such and such routine, or what are your goals that you're headed towards? And I don't think that a lot of new drivers, or maybe just people in general, really think that stuff through. I find myself asking people, well, where do you want to be in 5 years? What's your 5-year plan or whatever? And, not too many people can answer that question.
Yeah, that future mindset is totally, it's one of those things that we could all use help, myself included, in those areas. And it's really just about being diligent with it and practicing those habits every day. And really, like you said, finding your why. Why do you want to do this? Do you want to be there for your family? Do you want to just be healthier? Small goals, whatever they may be. And, with you all being a team drivers, that's kind of one of the groups that we try to focus on quite a bit in DHF, because we figured if we can help team drivers get healthier, then the solo should be easier because they have that much more time during the day.
Exactly.
So we always, kind of look at these barriers from team drivers, about being healthy and mental health. And, most of the time when we talk to team drivers, time is limited. They might not know where to get started. And then sometimes that can turn people to kind of gravitate towards those short-term fixes, like maybe just throw something out there like a keto or fasting, or just something like that, to where they might be choosing things that will help us in the short term, maybe the long term too. But just stuff like that, to where they're trying to find the kind of the workaround for these things. Can you address some of those barriers? Maybe how you've come across them and how you maybe overcome them in the past or in the present with those things you see on the road as team drivers?
Yeah.
This is definitely something that this is what we're doing. We have, like you said, barriers, and we're still finding all the ways to improve upon it. Time, right, is always, it's no matter what profession or wherever you are, time and money. Those are the two, right? Those are everyone's go-to reasons why they can't do something, right? Those are the two bigger barriers. And as a trucker, time is the bigger one. And so you really have to figure out where you where you have the time, like she was talking about scheduling around your load assignment and stuff. And you'll find if you can do 15-30 minutes of something, whatever goal you had in mind. And if it's fitness, then getting out, and that's something, another thing that you had, that's another barrier, overcoming the self-consciousness and of having to get out of the truck and everyone looking at you and judging you and all that sort of stuff. But so that's another barrier. Then going out and knowing what to even do for that 15-30 minutes, and maybe you'll spend 15-30 minutes looking at your phone. Oh, maybe I can do any of these things, and trying to make a plan for it. So I guess routine again, it would be this is what I'm going to do. I have what I'm going to do, like these 5-6 movements I'm going to do, and I'm going to do that this whole week. Or maybe not every day, but that's when I am talking about my fitness in my plan for my go-tos, the days that I have the time to do it. That's what I'm going to have. These 5-6 movements. I'm going to go out there and do that.
So
Simplifying it, simplifying it. So knowledge, time, self-conscious, self-awareness. I did want to talk about the fasting thing. So the food and whatnot is something I think that's one of the biggest places that you can make a huge difference with your body without even fitness. And also the hardest part, because you're being marketed so hard with with
every mile,
with every billboard. You're being marketed for eat this pizza, eat this donut, eat this, like, I mean, I gotta, and
it'd be nice to get some veggies up there on those billboards, right? Or like some fruits or something.
those aren't gonna sell. Those aren't sexy, right?
You know you want to. You gotta pee anyway. Don't you want to stop? Come on in. Clean.
And so, okay, so then the barrier is like, okay, I am hungry. I can see these signs, and I'm noticing that I maybe I'm bored and hungry, right? I mean that, and again, self-awareness, knowing that, oh, okay, this is I'm hungry because I'm being sold to right now, and then you have to choose to pull in to a rest area, and pull into the rest area and grab something that you have on truck. So then you're saving money. So there's your financial goal, and then you're then eating something healthier than what you would get at the truck stop. So there's a health goal. You may be eating when you're bored, maybe, but at least it's and if you can, like, just take that handful of nuts or the handful of the veggies or just a whole bag of it. I mean, some people have a whole bag of veggies that we usually get from Walmart. But and just snack on that and just eat it, and just, I mean, just if you just eat it like you would, like if you, I'm pretty sure we've all done this, but like mindlessly eating chips and TV, right? And then you're almost done with the bag. That's kind of what you gotta almost convince yourself that this is better.
Because we can all make those excuses. I mean, it's so easy to say, well, I'm a team, so it's harder because da-da-da. But I've been solo before, and I've wasted just as much time, because you start to get in the mindset of, well, it's only 10 hours, so really I only have 2 hours stop time because I have to sleep 8 hours. It's only a 10-hour break, so how much time do you really have as a solo?
I gotta shower.
You gotta shower, then you gotta
laundry.
eat, you gotta fit some laundry in there. So I think that the time thing is the same almost across the board. What's more empowering, and what I think spurs us on, is the drive, right? It's the choice to get past your excuses. And the worst part is it's not too bad, so you don't want to make a change. You're kind of sitting in this like middle slump where you don't really envision your life being that bad, but it's not that good either, so you're just sitting in the middle where you don't even want to make change. And I think that's where most people reside, in this middle place where they just get stuck because it's not that bad. And getting past that, it's all that mental state of taking away the excuses of, oh, I'm a team, or or this, and it takes a lot. I am not saying that it's easy by any means.
We've been doing this 5 years, and we still we struggle with making with the right choices, right? What we want it, what you want for your goals. So,
but the forgiveness of it, I think, is a huge part too. Forgiving yourself and finding that balance of, okay, but if you forgive yourself for mistake after mistake after mistake for every single day, there's some point where you kind of have to kick yourself in your own ass and say, all right, well, I need to get my stuff together here and start making some right choices. And just walking that line, for the most part, it's not rocket science. People know how to eat and exercise healthier. What's hard is making it a priority and committing to it over the long term. When you're not seeing changes, when you hit plateaus, and just driving through that and knowing, okay, I'm doing the right thing though. Lenore and I talked about how we feel like if we made a change, like that day, like I wanted the burger, right, at McDonald's, but I ate the veggies and rice or whatever that we had on the truck instead. And was it better than the burger? In some ways, but did it taste better? Was my brain like, whoa, these veggies and rice, delicious? Like, sometimes no. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, that was way better and I'm glad about it. But sometimes no. But the next day, when I look back, and that future self gets to be like, oh, good for me. Actually, I didn't eat that. Huh. Man, I already feel thinner. But, I think that it's hard to live. Isn't there's some science behind not really having a hard time making these decisions because it's hard to put yourself in your future self's shoes. That seems like a stranger, and who you want to satisfy is your present person. It's like, reduced willpower from driving 11 hours and having to deal with traffic and having to deal with all this stuff, and you just want to do something quick, and you just want to do something that's satisfying with some sugar and a pick-me-up, and it's battling that. It's battling the self.
Well, and you guys hit on something that's huge for many people, is thinking that long-term, those long-term feelings and results, and that in the short term, it's so hard to think about, okay, this is going to make me feel better even tomorrow or the next day, or this is going to give me more energy or help me sleep better. It's just like in the moment, it's really hard to make those decisions, especially when you are newer to doing that. And you've mentioned a lot about time management, and that it's so hard for people to manage their own time. It's one thing to have somebody tell you this is what you're doing here, here, and here, but to manage that yourself, you guys are great resources for that. You're doing it, and like you said, no one's perfect. You are still trying to improve, be more efficient, learn, but you guys being out there and doing it, being a resource for the drivers is huge. And so with that being said, you guys are working on building your own healthy driving fleet. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, that's pretty exciting for us. It was a risk, and we took it. So we just got a couple of trucks. Our bigger goal is 10. Everybody, so keep that out there. Send it out there. So yeah, we are focused on providing our drivers with like the equipment that they need to start with, and access to the different courses that we have, and so that they can start off in our truck, or maybe continue their driving career in our truck, and with healthy habits that hit all areas. And it's very similar with you guys. And the focus will be on not just having somebody behind the wheel just to drive. It's somebody who is driving for a higher quality life. And
yeah, not everybody will be for us. I think that's something that we're trying to really manage well. But so the idea is that we want to build a fleet of drivers that's making an impact out on the road in a different way. So we want the drivers that are probably exactly your guys' listeners, the ones that are trying to do it better out there, that are trying to do it healthier, that are, their intention is to be good spouses and good fathers or mothers and, good friends. They've got healthy relationships. They're seeking to stay positive out on the road and really be a positive change in the industry, because we know that that the industry is one of the most unhealthy and depressive. Truck drivers themselves are similar to veterans in sense that they are really lonely and depressed, and that there's high suicide rates and unhealthy behavior. And I think that it's not impossible, and that it's really easy to say, oh, it's easier to say, oh, it's too hard, the industry's not built around me, and therefore we can't do it. And what Lenore and I are proving every day that we're out here is that yes, you can. And so is that guy, and so is that gal, and there are truckers, and there are companies out here that are starting to move in that direction. And Prime is one of the top, the leading company doing that. And that's why I think that it's so wonderful that they've built this program, and that you guys are running it and doing it in such an amazing way. And so that's what we're looking for also. We want to build a fit fleet, right? One that is inspiring positive, healthy change in an industry that is, maybe not the healthiest.
Yeah, that's inspiring too. That's, being at Prime, like you said, it's one of the leaders in health and wellness for drivers. I've talked to several other trucking companies because they come to us and ask about, what do you guys do for your health and wellness for your drivers? Because it seems like people in the industry are trying to catch on a little bit, but having these positions around and having drivers like you all out there to really push forward and pioneer health and wellness in the trucking industry is really awesome. And that mission you guys have both with MOTOme and with just being healthy in general, practicing what you preach in your own life is really inspiring for other drivers. And I really hope that those listening out there hit you guys up about this, because it'd be a great opportunity to start that fit fleet up and to really start moving the needle in the other direction with mental health and health awareness and being able to really change things up in the trucking industry, which is it's much needed.
Yeah, thank you. If anybody's interested, you can hit us up. Matt can give you our contact information, or we're online and social media almost anywhere at MOTOme Life is MOTOME Life. And we just relaunched our website, so you can find us there. We're at MOTOMELife.com, and we finally got that back up and oriented towards truckers. So we're definitely out there, and we would love to hear from anybody who is looking to be that and do this differently. We would love to provide you with the resources to do it different out here.
To do it motivated.
Exactly. That's awesome, guys. And one of the things that a lot of our drivers ask us, and I feel like you almost have to show this for them to have that buy-in when it comes to being healthy, is, what benefits, have you guys seen since practicing these healthy behaviors out on the road, whether it's nutrition, mental health, anything along those lines?
So again, like Sarah was talking about time management. My time management skills have improved so greatly that I'm going to school now. Everyone knows how hard it is to keep up with assignments in college and everything, and I've been doing that, and we've been getting straight A's and asked to be a part of the honors program and all that stuff, which, I mean, geez.
Yeah, we've got better quality relationships with our
family all over the country. Our financial health is incredible. I mean, this is a prime time to be a trucker, especially with the how much money you can make out here. And our other business goals, like the trucks, that's the trucks that we're purchasing and whatnot, that's been really cool, making cool friendships and partnerships, like with DHF and just other people in the industry.
We just recently took time off in Miami and got another fitness certification over there. I think that, we could say that our relationships and our personal relationship is higher quality. And then, so on the backside of all those little mini successes, especially with finance and, familial relationships and things like that, you start to stack up those wins, and I think it keeps you motivated to head towards all those other goals. And so then we're able to like continue. You know, I've lost weight as a truck driver. I do feel healthier. I am sleeping better even while the truck is moving. And so that's on the back of 1 year back out here, a little over a year. We went May 2020. We got back in the truck, and we've just been practicing all of that personal development stuff that we were teaching, off the road, trying to apply it on the road. And yeah, definitely, there's benefits, and then the long-term benefits are yet to be seen.
Still get them.
My plan is to live to 200. And
That's a great plan.
and I'm sure that I'll have hopefully way less medical bills, and
Be able to walk and play for a very long time, and I'm a kind of childlike soul. I like to play a lot. And anyways, but I'll be able to do that longer. And
I think that the benefits are real, and they're maybe yet to be seen, and we're still obviously making moves. I think it takes time. Your body itself regenerates down to every molecule of bone every 7 or 8 years, right? So you could be a completely new person in about that time frame, and we're about a year in. So.
Guys, that is amazing. And you've shared so much great information for drivers. What, if you have any, is there anything else that you think is really important for drivers out there to know? Tips, just more information, anything like that?
So I have to hit on a few topics real quick because this is from our Facebook group, the MOTOvated trucker group. I told them we were going to be on this podcast, and asked them what it is that they would like to hear more about, and they wanted to talk specifically about fatigue. And so this was something that really was interesting to me as I got onto the road, because Gates is actually a light sleeper, and she wakes up like on a dime, like somebody could just whisper and she would wake up. So so that's an issue when you're team driving, right? So and then you have that reefer, and you have the APU, and whatever stresses you might have, especially with females, might have security and safety sort of worries and whatnot. Which could prevent you from sleeping and whatnot. So I think that with fatigue, what I wanted to say about that was that it really starts with what you're feeding yourself, right? Which goes back to a little bit of that fasting like you were talking about earlier. We do fast. It's one of the biggest things that has been extremely helpful for us. And we were fasting before we got on the road too, but it wasn't as much.
I'm more sedentary now, so
yeah.
I don't require as many calories. I think that's been one of the major barriers. Like, just eat less because I'm moving less. Yeah. And that seems counterintuitive because you're taught 3 meals a day, and
But it also helps with sleep. So you have a specific time frame. Intermittent fasting. The fasting and the research behind all that. There's a lot of cool research being found. For me, it's not enough yet to really tell people to do it, days on end or whatever. But there is enough evidence to support intermittent fasting. And again, it's up to your lifestyle and who you want to be and what your specific physical goals are and things like that. But for us, that's just what's been really helpful, not just with our physical gains and health gains, but sleeping. And coffee is another thing. That's another thing. People drink a lot of caffeine and Monsters and all that stuff. If you can get away from the sodas and the Monsters, that's just like the easiest thing to stop. I mean, I say easiest, but it's the one thing that just, if you can cut out those specific drinks, you'll make a huge difference in your life. We also got a blood test done to see what kind of foods are good for us and things like that. Not an allergy test, but more like what's going to be the best sort of diet for us individually based off our DNA. And I found out that if I drink coffee, I'm going to be up way longer than she is. She can metabolize it a lot faster than most people. So she can drink coffee almost all day, but I can only have coffee that first, maybe hour or two of driving, and I can't have any more caffeine after that if I focus on quality of sleep. The other thing is to, obviously, I feel like I'm going to be repetitive to a lot of people, but the screen time and all that stuff, and limiting that before bed, it's the blue light. It really is that blue light. If you can keep it dark in there, and that blue light, there's only certain things that we can do. There's a long list that you can. There's an awesome book by Sean Stevenson about sleep. I think it's called Sleep Smarter. But he specifically goes on a long routine, sleep routine or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's nice, but that's not realistic, So in trucking, yeah. So take what you can from it. And again, it's the diet. It's what you're eating. It's the water you can drink. I had to shift to make it more okay for me to have to stop a little more frequently to use the restroom if you're trying to drink more water. Again, you have to realize what load you're on.
But don't let it be an excuse.
Yeah.
There is plenty of time. Maybe 1 or 2 times out of 2 months or something, the load is that tight. But there's time. There's time on the loads, and it's built in specifically for you to be able to stop and stuff. And so a lot of the stuff that she's learned has been while driving. So that's another thing, is like, feed your brain good stuff. It doesn't have to just be music. I hope you're not listening to the bad news media for 11 hours straight while you're driving. Find some audiobooks, some good playlists, and set that stuff up so that you can feed your brain with some things that you actually want to start applying to your life.
One more thing that our listeners or our group members wanted to know about was adaptive and flexible ways to stay positive. So I think we kind of hit a little bit on that when we talked about the mindset and setting up your day with mostly, if you can just focus on gratitude, that is just grateful for even the tiniest things. If you can't even think of anything bigger to be grateful for, just your sight, you're being able to touch, to hear, to even be driving, to have that sort of job. Again, look out your window. Most of it is gorgeous. So those sort of things, if you can just be gratitude would be the best way to increase your positivity.
And it's going to feel stupid at first.
Yeah, you're going to feel
like
silly.
Your tongue wants to fail you. Your body's going to say this is retarded. But just say it. Say it out loud. You're there, unless you're a team driver, and hopefully your partner is helping you.
Yeah.
But just
I had to get over her. I had to get over her hearing me. If you say it out loud, saying it out loud is even more powerful. It will make, at first, like I said, it feels silly. It feels like I'm a fool. I'm up here. I know people are watching me. That self-consciousness and whatnot. And even she's gonna hear me and she's gonna make fun of me. But she didn't. She's not going to. I know she really isn't. But even
just 3 minutes. Try just 3 minutes. Even that's hard to just consciously breathe. I encourage anybody to try to sit up straight and intentionally breathe and hold in your abs and stuff, and just try to do that even for just 1 mile. It's harder than you think.
That's a great point that she just hit on. That's another thing that we do try to do,
because you slouch, or you're sitting in the driver's seat in one specific way for 3 or 4 hours, and your body is going to adapt to those dysfunctions, that immobility, and then all of a sudden, that's why you get out of the truck and you're all hunched over. Well, your torso and your pelvis have been flexed and twisted for hours. Think of it, hours. So, try to sit on the other hip or twist your spine the opposite direction. Use the other arm to hold the steering wheel and sit in the opposite way than you do naturally. And even that'll help, to realign some of your body's dysfunctions and
get you in tune to maybe what your body's feeling, where you might have a little dysfunction, and I don't know. It'll also help you engage your core by just sitting up straight. It's hard. Try to do it for a mile.
But they'll make fun of you. They're like, "Oh, that's a new driver. They're looking at them sitting up straight, trying to drive that truck."
Anyway, those are the couple points I did want to hit on, and what would you guys say about that? About dealing with fatigue or being adaptive and flexible with the changes of the hardships of being a trucker and staying positive through it.
Staying positive through it.
Yeah, so myself, I think of fatigue, and I kind of relate things to my own life a little bit because I feel like that's how you learn mostly. It's from your own experiences to where you can take that mix with the science and then be able to kind of come up with a solid plan going forward. The fatigue on that side, I think of it a little bit. And obviously, sitting at a desk and sitting behind the truck is a little bit different, but you're sitting both times. Energy levels are going to be down both times. Your metabolism is going to be down because of that sedentary state. So I always think, just the nutrition has a huge point to it. And then being able to go out and do small, just move a little bit, whether it's just, stretching for a second or just walking a little bit, getting the blood flowing. I think those are huge, not only for myself, but that's what I always preach to drivers is just every time you get out of a truck stop, every time you get out of the bathroom break, just move a little bit, walk a little bit, take a few laps around your truck. And then I know for myself even, to keep up my energy levels while I'm working all day, sitting behind a desk for 9 or 10 hours, it really helps me to have a solid nutrition plan going throughout the day. So I'll sit the night before and actually, put together what I'm going to eat. Okay, I'm going to eat this. It all falls within my calorie range, what I want to eat, and it's all stuff that's going to give me energy. And so that's the kind of plan I try to stick to. And one that I try to tell drivers, too, is really just staying prepared by having a plan. It's not always easy, as you guys know. You said it's routine, it's hard to come by out there, but if you can, in those situations, have a plan, that helps them just stay on track that much more. And when I say for nutrition, I say that, but that could be kind of a long-winded answer of, what do you eat for nutrition to have that energy? I always like to have, what gives me a lot of energy is clean eating. So not necessarily a ton of meats or a ton of one certain thing, but I like to have maybe a big salad. I actually have the most energy after like a huge salad or something light like that, to where you're not just really groggy afterwards. Because you talked about earlier, smashing a burger compared to like eating veggies and rice. The burger might taste better. That's what it's made to be, is tasting good. That's how they formulate it. But after you eat it, you're immediately probably going to be groggy, tired, not want to do anything. And that's where you start going to all those other unhealthy habits of maybe a trickle effect. I had this burger, now I'm also going to have this monster to keep awake, and then I'm also, so I feel like it can kind of cascade from there. So that's what helps me. So that, just having a plan in place.
I think that's brilliant too, because I love what you said there about figuring out what fit you, and I think a lot of people are scared to do that. I try to tell people, like, life's your own science experiment, and nutrition is really, really basic and not rocket science, and at the same time it's very, very personal, and everybody's guts is like as unique as a fingerprint, and you really have to figure out, like, experiment with different things and spend a month or 2 months saying what happened. I heard one guy in an interview talking about how he was having just massive headaches, and the only thing that he had changed was that he started eating almonds. Well, almonds are great for you. Grab a handful of nuts. That's what every nutritionist says. But for him, it was wrong. For him, it made him feel worse. You have to figure that out and be willing to change and adapt to your own body. And I think that that's another way that we've tried to, purposely figure things out over the road. What can you do, what's available, and then on the backside of that, well, is this actually making me feel good or not? And the burger isn't making me feel good, but the veggies and clean eating is making me feel more energetic. So that's awesome.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like we could talk about this stuff for like hours here and just keep going into like all these different realms and everything. So would you guys be down to have me come on here again, and we can kind of, finish a conversation about all of this health stuff and about maybe diving a little deeper into some of these topics with us?
Totally, man.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And we'll get in person here in the future too. That way we can, kind of do this as we get a little bit more sophisticated with our technology and stuff. So we really appreciate you guys coming on today. And, to kind of reiterate where drivers can find you if they want to get a hold of you, can you touch on those social media outlets and all that again?
Yeah, you can find us pretty much everywhere. on at MotoMe Life, at MOTOME Life, and it's motomelife.com, and you can message us there as well. We really appreciate being on here and talking with you guys. This is something that we love to talk about. So
100%. Yeah, we really appreciate kind of sharing your knowledge of things that help you on the road, and your experiences that have led you to where you are today. I think it's a really powerful story, and as we continue to touch base going forward, I know you guys will be a big hand in helping us kind of guide our efforts in driver health and fitness to kind of put our best foot forward when it comes to helping our drivers. As you know, Sarah and I are sitting behind a desk, so we're not behind a wheel every day seeing what you see. And so I feel like it's really good to just have driver input like yourselves to really put our best foot forward when it comes to driver health. So we'll talk to you guys again soon and everything, and we really appreciate you guys coming on, and until next time,
yeah,
see you later.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Stay motivated.
Thanks.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed that over there at MotoMe Trucker. Hopefully you could hear that conversation, and write down in the comments below, and I'll look through. Obviously I wasn't over there to scroll through the feed if you guys had any questions or if you were interacting.
It's
But
only two-person team. Sorry about that.
But write down in the comments below, and we will answer more of your questions. Hopefully we'll be able to interview and do another podcast with Matt and Sarah. We certainly appreciate them inviting us on the podcast, and if that sparked anything in you or some questions, or definitely certain programs or infographics that you definitely would want, let us know and we will make those for you. And stay motivated out there, and we'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching.
Bye.